That's right, Nancy. I am live from Dallas, Texas, where millions of people are rushing to HighLevel to sign up.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Shaun Clark from HighLevel. Shaun Clark from HighLevel. Shaun Clark from HighLevel. Shaun Clark from HighLevel.
Whoa, here we are.
Tell us where you guys are all from, and then Shaun and I will get started. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourself. I guess I should probably put the chat up so I can read it. Texas. Ooh, we got somebody in Texas. Mexico. Chicago. A lot of Texas peeps. Look at that. DC. Florida. Hungary. That's fantastic. Missouri. Louisiana. We got them all over the place. Well, fantastic. So, Shaun, how the heck are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. We're getting closer to Level Up Day. I mean, okay, well, to be fair, I'm a little bummed in the sense that there are a lot of amazing releases that are either have already gone out, right in the process of going out, but either way, I cannot disclose any of them publicly. So it's like, you know, it's like before Christmas, right? You're like a little you can open the presents, but you know they're coming. So kind of excited about that.
Yeah. I remember last year when we went, like for a month, all the releases were paused.
Essentially that's right where we're at right now.
And then
some will slip out the back door, you know, and some people will find them. Some will be completely hidden. It's kind of like a little Easter egg hunt.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people like, this button's new. It wasn't there yesterday.
I always see those and I'm like, can I not say anything? They found the button, but nope. They're like, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
What can I do?
That's fantastic. I was just telling my wife this morning, I don't know if you are aware, she's the one who updates that you released a new video every day. So she's like, I got all the Shaun videos up.
I apologize to her. I was like, that's a horrible job. I'm sorry.
I was like, no, you don't. He just did another one. So I was talking to her. I was like, man, because we've used previous software as probably 95% of the people who come to HighLevel. And I was just saying, man, HighLevel releases more features in 1 month, more new features in 1 month than probably all of them combined.
True. We really do enjoy that.
You said something to me backstage that was kind of interesting. Yeah. Our video shows that you guys had and I couldn't find any data, obviously, but
okay. We've been sort of, you know, so our last round was kind of big, and initially they were very like, hey, could you guys kind of like keep it quiet on like the valuation and some of that stuff? But then as time has gone on, they've loosened up a little bit in terms of, now technically they can't tell us what to do, but I like to be respectful of people I make deals with. So I was like, all right, we'll just be a little more relaxed until later. But now they're a little better about it. Okay.
Yeah, they're getting ready for Level Up where you probably
exactly
release it. Okay. That's wonderful. And so I've heard the story about like how you guys got to the point where you created HighLevel. I think even recently heard the story about how you met Robin, which I thought was pretty gnarly. And now the three of you guys are like an intricate, team that, building up. So you guys are growing rapidly, right? So like, any idea how many employees you have now?
Let's see. We're over 1,300.
Wow.
And we'll be at 1,500 by the end of the year.
And I mean, what do you feel is like the biggest challenge with growing that fast?
It's culture. It's the fact that like in every decision you'll have like different ways that you can go about it. And we've always done things a certain way. And what you want in all scenarios is when that person is by themselves, confronted with a certain situation, you always want them to do it the way your culture is.
Yeah.
Not the way that, whatever maybe even common sense would tell you. We often go against the grain of common sense, but yeah, it's really maintaining that culture across the whole organization so that at any point it'd just be like, hey, is that person going to make the same choice in the same way that I would, or I would want them to? And that is the hardest thing is you skip.
I can only imagine. I've never owned or ran an organization that had 1,500 employees.
Me either. So I'm with you. It's new for me too.
That's funny. Now I know that a lot of focus goes into the ideas board.
Yeah.
But what do you feel like is like the the percentage, like, how much of it comes from the ideas board?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting one. So, I mean, historically, it's been 100%. One thing I've just had this sort of I'm a slow learner, so I've just had this epiphany recently. So the ideas board used to really represent. I would sort of say I used to go to the ideas board and I would look at it and I'd be like, yeah, that's totally a feature we should have, and that's like a table stakes feature, and I can't believe we don't have it, like that kind of thing. And it has actually radically shifted. So now I would say most of the ideas are more like that is like at least a level 2 or a level 3 feature that, unless you are already deep in the app, you don't even think about needing that, or unless you're in the specific niche, something like that. So it has shifted from a beginner's idea board to more of an advanced user idea board. And I've just sort of recently started kind of picking up on that. And that has been a really interesting epiphany, but it still very much drives, I would say 100% of how the team operates.
Yeah. I notice a lot of people, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's not knowing better, maybe it's, I don't know, laziness, who knows, but we'll take to the Facebook group, like, it really should do this.
Yep.
And in reality, unless somebody gets tagged, that doesn't do much, right?
Well, and to be honest, we've always had those people. In fact, that's the reason the ideas board got built to begin with, because initially that's how we would respond. It was like, who's the loudest person in the room? And then over time we realized, that's actually a really bad idea. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It doesn't mean they're right. But unless we have consensus, it's really going to be difficult. Now, all that to say, when I see somebody do that, I always try to be respectful to it and say, like, okay, like, first of all, look at that idea, and, is it way out of left field? Okay. Maybe I'm not going to make a judgment. I'll look at the comments. But if it looks like anything, I would still try to get it to the right product manager, even if that product manager reads it and is like, nah, like, not even something we would ever want to do, or yeah, but maybe 2 years from now. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just sort of like, I just want to make sure that person's idea gets heard, so we can be respectful to them taking the time to give it to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm not going to name names of other companies, but I mean, I think most of us have used a lot of the other companies out there, or even just some of them, and that's just not the case in the industry. I mean, HighLevel is beyond leagues beyond.
Yeah, I don't know any other company that actually operates this way.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think, again, we still take this position. We will always take this position. Like, we are here to serve our customer, and we're in service of you. And we don't wake up every day and think, oh, we know what we're doing. We really think, like, the sooner we get out and talk to you. And it's about filtration of ideas. And this is why I think all of that feedback is great, because I will say to even to the people that, just throw stuff out on the Facebook group, we get lots of great ideas from that all the time. And, we wouldn't be here without an amazing community. So we're super thankful and respectful of that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you there. I think a lot of people on this call probably want to learn, like, some of the best tips and ideas to, like, help them grow. I mean, I think everybody came to HighLevel for a very specific reason, right? So to tell you a little bit about, like, our history, like, when we came over to HighLevel, we found it completely by accident, probably like a lot. And it's like, I knew better, come from a sales background, right? Very extensive sales background. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's like this, there's that, there's this, I want to use this. And that was our marketing approach. And it was bad. It was really bad. So for 3 months, I was like getting on demo calls, like, it can do all of that and we can do everything. And they're like, all right, well, I just really need to think about it. That's a lot for me to ignore. And it wasn't until we, like, figured out to solve a specific solution, like into it, we niched down, as most people, right? So we decided to go into an industry niche, and we started providing a solution for that specific industry. And then as soon as we did that and became familiar with our own product and how to word it, it's just like sub account after sub account after sub account after sub account. And then things just started kind of flowing. And then it became just kind of like a license to print money. Like, let's run some more ads. And every $100 turns into $600. And we just kept on doing that. And I think a lot of people miss that. Like, they get in that rabbit hole mode, like we did. But if as somebody who works with thousands, I mean, you obviously have now millions of users, right?
Yep. Yes, we do.
What are some key things that you would offer as far as advice to a new agency?
So yeah, so the new agency, I love that you said new agency because everybody's different, right? And I think what's tough is when people meet people like you, they're like, okay, I'm gonna drive immediately to that destination. And it's like you're actually the worst place to go, is what I would tell people. I would always say, listen, start local and start simple. And the great news here is, like, first of all, everyone who intends on world domination, don't worry, because this does not preclude you from world domination. But what it does, it actually assures you a stable base from which to dominate. And so what I always tell people is, listen, use your local area as you have a lot of advantages that even if you don't realize them, they're advantages, right? Like, you know, people, you know, the weather, you know, the sports teams, you know, the local politics, like whatever it might be, things that create connection, right?
Yeah,
Your capacity to meet people. So, so here's my like background story on this. So HighLevel's starting, we're talking to agencies all the time. I'm still trying to figure out what our value proposition is to our customer. And I end up talking to sort of like two types of agencies, right? And I would sort of say, like, let's say they're both Facebook people for all I care. They're just, all we do is Facebook ads. Fine. One's doing Facebook ads in the local community, doing every type of business. The other's like, oh no, I would never do that. I'm niche in dentistry or roofers or whatever. Simple difference between the two. The local guys never lose a customer, don't know what the word churn means. Their problem in life is more around, I sold marketing to someone and now I'm looking to sell more. I've got a share of wallet issue.
Okay.
All the niche guys losing customers left, right, and center. What's the difference? Because I will tell you, the niche guys actually did understand and have deeper knowledge of their industries, but it turns out that what trumps that is the know, like, and trust. And if you live in my community, I'm a local business. I buy local. I serve local. I am local. I think local. So if you present yourself as another local person, I just have an immediate connection that is very hard to do over a Zoom call in the same way, right? And so for those of you getting started, use that advantage, right? Go to the local business groups, the BNIs and the chambers of commerce, and talk to them. Start with simple solutions, reputation management, missed call text back in a minute, inbound AI voice. Like, start with things where you can say you're not buying ads, you're just basically mopping up traffic, like the web chat widget. You put the web chat widget on a website, you get them one customer a month. That is almost always worth $300 a month to most businesses. And all you're doing is mopping up stuff that they're missing every single day that's already inbound. Like, these are really easy ways to create a very scalable, robust, low churn business that you can then, move out from. You can do lots of things from there, but you're going to build up very quickly to a very sustainable revenue position that is not, you're not constantly fighting that falling out from under your feet, so that you can establish that base and then scale from there. So for me, that is how I would start. That is how I tell my friends to start. That's how I tell every new person to start, just to get themselves to a place of stability before they race off and start doing something much bigger and try to go for world domination.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Especially, you can walk into a business and be face to face with them, or, hey, I'm right down the street, I'll stop by and say hi to you. Like, we figured that out eventually. We figured it out eventually. Now I would say, from our SaaS model, probably 25% of our customers are local. Yeah. And I'll even get some of my agency friends are like, "What do you mean you drive over there?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's a gym. It's down the street. I use their business." Like, we've even worked out to where, like, okay, my wife and my daughter will go use like their, I don't even know what it's called, cold plunge type thing.
Oh yeah.
And he pays us for our services. We pay him for his services, and we would have spent the money somewhere else anyways. So it's like, it works out. And
it gives you and again, there's a lot of stuff going when you're new. So yeah, there's the sales pitch, but there's also like the setup, and there's also the legalities that you don't understand. It's a learning process for you, right? So I think you want the most like connected situation possible, because invariably something's going to go wrong that you don't anticipate. And you need to be able to like swoop in and use all of that connectedness to save that sale and that client, especially as you're learning and you're trying to scale.
Yeah, 100%. That's very helpful. Like, I wish I would have had some sort of like road or path and going, hey, just wake up. When I first started, and I mean, luckily we come from a very determined nature. So, it's just like, we're not giving up. We're not giving up. We're going to keep doing this.
That's right.
If other people, like, what was it I used to hear when I was a grown up? If Michael Jordan can do it, why can't you do it? Right. So like, if one person can do it, then somebody else can do it.
That's
right.
True.
Maybe Michael Jordan is an exaggeration, because
I always tell people, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
I try to set a low bar, I'm like, if an idiot like me can make it happen, you can too. And I always think like, you don't lose until you give up. Right. So if you just kind of keep like, you're going to keep moving. You're going to hit walls. You're going to back up. It's like a maze, right? You're just trying to find your way through it. But if you stop, that's kind of when things fall apart. And so I think it's just about continuing to iterate, and you will find your answers. You just can't, when you're confronted with that wall, you just can't stop and say, oh, I took the wrong turn. Like, it's funny because if you think of a maze is a great example, because none of us would go through a maze and hit a wall and stop, because we're like, well, that's a maze, right? You're supposed to back up. It's supposed to confuse you. It's supposed to try to trick you. But in life, I think sometimes we make that mistake and we think, oh, I didn't get the right answer right out of the gate. I'm wrong. And I'm like, I've never gotten an answer right out of the gate. So cut it down. I mean, you cut your offer down to you cut your offer down to the bone, and you think, well, what is that thing that's going to give them the most value, and try to do it off the, the automated stuff. So missed call, text back, web chat widget, it used to be Google Business, Google My Business, profile chat. I can't believe those idiots got rid of it. Whatever. Inbound voice AI, which is coming out in Level Up Day, which is my favorite feature. If you're gonna ask that question, that's my favorite feature coming up. But just the things that help them mop up the stuff they're already missing every single day, because they're busy business owners running around doing their thing, and they're just missing all kinds of inbounds.
So you mentioned, I think you just let it slip a little bit, but I think Chase might have let it slip a little bit before you. But
I was super encouraging. I was like, please, I mean, because look at his videos, man, they're amazing. So I'm like, dude, you got to. I'm not doing that. You can do that. You rock that.
So the video he released where it's got a demo on it, that's the voice. That's
it. I mean, that is our solution. And I'm sure they'll make it. I mean, you got to figure from that demo to the release date, there's like a month or so it'll get better. But that was me going to, I mean, my thing is, like, Chase is a great example. I work at an agency. He's the type of guy who I feel like has a great representation of both sides. So whenever we're going to do something, I always go to him and say, like, hey, you need to tell me if you think this is good. And if not, please don't demo it or tell anybody about it. Just go back to the engineering team and say, this is garbage. But if you think this is good, I want you to do a video on it. And so then that's where that video came from. So yeah, that's exactly where we're headed. And I think it's going to be huge, because I come from this nerdy, but I don't think it's nerdy, but I loved it. I started an answering service out of college. In fact, I dropped out of college to start an answering service. And an answering service, for those of you too young to know this, basically think a lot of people answering inbound phone calls for plumbers, lawyers, doctors, dentists, and 24/7, 365. And what I simply learned from that business is that a human being picking up a phone, regardless of the time, we would actually take most of our calls in the middle of the day, would keep the customer from moving on, even if that agent or that operator or whatever you want to call them provided absolutely sort of almost no value, except to say, we're here, we care about you, we're going to get your information, we're going to get you help, which is all we really did. We would light businesses up with we would just pour money into their pockets relative to what they would pay us. And so we now can do that with AI, and I'm pretty excited about that.
It's interesting you say that. I still occasionally find businesses that are using an answering service. And
to be fair, in this moment, as they should. Businesses that don't use an answering service today are still in the being foolish camp, because they are missing tons of money. Yeah, they're all so different, but if you just say, oh, whatever, like I need a plumber, whatever. Oh, no problem. We'll get somebody to give you a call right back from the estimating department. You think, oh, okay, I'm good, and you move on with your day, even if that's the answering service.
So before we go into the questions, actually, maybe you can give some people on the call some insight for when this comes out. Since you had an answering service and we now are about to have voice AI, like just that service, that feature alone.
Yeah, so the most important thing to know about this is how you pitch it. So you do not pitch it as a replacement for them. Bad idea. It's it's called, we used to call it busy, no answer call forwarding. So you just say, hey, listen, when and if, because you got to throw out if, because some people think they're perfect. If you miss a call anytime, day or night, it will first try you, of course. And if you miss it, it will roll over. So the great news is, if you get all your calls, you pay me nothing, because you can you can parcel this out any way you want. But if you just happen not to be there, or maybe you're asleep, and someone calls and wants to give you business, they'll do that. And the way we've sort of scripted the bot is to sort of be very boxed out, so that its goal is not to go super deep and ask you big questions or give you lots of information, because that doesn't work. It's to basically be the replacement for the receptionist, where it's like, what would a receptionist do, right? They would take your information, maybe give you some basic information, but they would stop at some point, and that's how we've orchestrated this because that's what's going to be the most effective. But really, that's what it is. It's, hey, currently you're missing calls whether you know it or not. We're going to put this in place. You don't have to do anything weird with your phone number. We're just going to put busy no answer call forwarding, which is like you do like, I don't know what it is, *72 or star something or other. And then you put a phone number that you want to roll into, and that's it. And that's how it works. Literally 24/7, ring, ring, ring. If you don't pick up, boom, it rolls. So
in the future, do you feel like, and this is probably a really, really very simple question that is I'm likely to get the exact answer, I think, but do you feel like AI is eventually where it's all going?
Yeah, so I think that, so we're thinking of this as a concept, we're going to call it the AI employee. And we think that while there will absolutely be limitations, right? Everyone will have an AI employee, and an AI employee will do a lot of different things to a certain level. And who knows how far it goes, but let's just assume it stopped today and didn't go any farther. I think it's already of sufficient value. It's like anything else. It's good enough to be put commonplace into every business across the board and accomplish enough to be valuable for the cost that you have to pay. Now, I assume it gets better, but even if it doesn't, absolutely every business will have an AI employee. And I think you'll be nuts not to, because it's today I can show you chat and voice examples where the average person calling a plumber is not calling to like ask how they're feeling or get an in-depth, thorough explanation on the types of pipes they use. They're just calling to freaking book an estimate to get something fixed at their house. And AI can just crush this right now. So there's just no reason in the world why AI employees won't be a part of every business. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so I appreciate that. Let's I guess open it up for some questions so that people have a chance to ask. We'll start at the top. Tony. Hey, Tony.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. The Collab app.
Yeah.
Is the vision for that to become a fully fledged client-facing app where, for example, like a med spa or a hairdresser can get their clients to download their white labeled version and be able to book appointments, see their last appointments?
Yep, 100%. That's exactly where it's headed. We started with the course creator community thing because there's a lot of hype and excitement around that in the moment. And so we wanted to strike fast there. And also, honestly, that team was kind of like, so think about that app as like a representation of all kinds of different stuff in the app. You can kind of see that. That team was sort of ready to go. So we let them run with that out of the gate. But absolutely, invoicing, like every other part, appointment booking, all that stuff will continue to just roll out across the board, both on that app as well as on the website.
And any time frame when clients will be able to book on their white label app?
Good question. I don't know offhand. It could be sooner than I know. What I would do is go to goHighLevel.com/product-events, and there's a calendar of all of the different product managers. They have their own town halls. You just go to the calendar town hall and ask them that question directly.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. 100%.
Thanks, Tony. All right. So I think next in line is Melissa. She has a question about what kind of marketing. Can we unmute Melissa, please, Welgie?
Hi, I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good,
so
how are you?
I'm doing okay. So I started marketing. I did so many cold calls, and then I started Google
I'm
Ads
sorry
as
about
well.
that.
So
I'm terrible at cold calling.
and I thought as I do it, I'm going to learn. But it just, I've done
I told myself that too. Maybe you did better than me.
I don't know. And then I'm watching like all these YouTube videos on cold calling, and I'm like, maybe this just isn't, for me. So then I tried Google Ads for a while, and now I'm thinking of starting maybe cold emails. I don't know.
Yes.
Like, could you just point me in a direction?
Yes. Okay. So I'm pointing you in the direction that I would go myself. So I'm terrible at sales. I couldn't sell anything. But I'm really good. Like if someone likes me or has any like little inbound interest, I can just tear right through that. But I cannot go from cold. It's not my deal. Right.
Yeah.
So we have a whole video on this. You get a help.gohighlevel.com and search BNI, you'll find it. But basically, if think about it like this, your local chamber of commerce exists because it has content. There's lots of other business groups that do this. There's lots of ways to do this locally, but they exist because they bring content in for their members, right? And so one of the tricks that we've seen pulled many times, and we actually documented, we give you like a PowerPoint presentation to do it yourself, all kinds of stuff, is you just call them up and say, hey, listen, I want to do a how to market your business online presentation for your organization. And they may make you join, and it costs very little money, but what's most important about it is there's no pitching. Like, you can't get up there and sell something. You get up there and you just like go nuts about how you can help businesses grow online. And what tends to happen, and we see this all the time, when you're a speaker at the front of a room and talking about a topic and you do a really smashing job of it, most people in the crowd are like, holy crap, I got to talk to that person. And sure enough, when you're done with the conversation, they come running up and they're like, hey, could you help me with that? I own this company. I own that company. And then that's where you start actually closing your sales and getting your customers. Okay. And then what I would do is I would try to just, once you have a channel that works, my strong advice is to just double, triple, quadruple, 10x down on that channel. Right.
Okay.
Because, and so it's like, how can you take that even bigger? Like, how can you create a podcast? So like one of the things we did early on, so this was a trick to get like influencers and stuff. So what we would do is we'd be like, hey, we've got this podcast. We'd love to have you come on and talk about how amazing you are. Would you be interested in that? And of course, everyone wants to talk about themselves.
Yes.
So everyone would show up. Now you have to do the work. Okay. You have to create a business, but let's just say you had I don't know what area you're in, but you have like the Detroit, Michigan podcast or something, right? Local business podcast. I interview local businesses about how they're growing their marketing. And by the way, you keep it topical. It's all about marketing, right? And invariably, you will find that if you do that work, you'll create content, people will know you, this and that, but you'll also pick up customers, because a lot of these people, for all the things that they do well, or they do in marketing or this or that, they're always looking to do more. And sure enough, there you are, right? And you're a topic leader. You have other customers you can reference in your local community, and it just starts to snowball downhill from there.
Okay, that's perfect. Someone else mentioned BNI as well, so I'm just going to take that as a sign
BNI is like
and run with it.
Remember, it's like a category. Look for any local business group where you can have people come in, and in particular, you want to give a presentation. You want to be an authoritative individual. You do not want to show up at the meeting just being another person in the circle. You want to show up giving a presentation. And the reason you're valuable isn't because you're there to pitch your product or your service. You're there actually because you're going to give free advice. You're going to show people end to end how to do this themselves, because what you want to convince them is that what you do is actually hard, and they can't just do this on the side, for without any training. And when they see how hard it is, they're going to be like, holy crap, I got to hire this lady.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Great question, Melissa. So next question is from Lavinia, but she's asked us not to unmute her because everybody's asleep, she says. She is saying, I understand that to start local works 95% of businesses, but what about if someone is in a country where due to language barriers, you can't reach local? There should be a way to reach out to our target audience much easier. I have created a networking community for a niche to make sure that global businesses, small and big, can meet and share and learn. Can something like this be done for the folks in GHL who start and need to reach out to new clients?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're talking about creating a community, which we have a community platform. And this is what I would do. Like, if I just absolutely was not in a position to serve a local audience, I would have to figure out how to draw people in, right? And this is where I would give the same advice on, like, I would do the podcast, right? I would try to figure out how can I corral people that I want to serve in a way that's not a direct sales motion, right? How can you give before you take? I think this is the number one thing I notice people mess up on, is I get a ton of people like, hey, I can show you how to do this, and I can show you how to do that. But it's always on the back of, if you give me your time and your money. Yeah. No one ever shows up and says, you know what? The best thing would be like, hey, I've already actually gotten you a couple of customers. Here they are. I'd love to talk to you about how I can get you more. That would blow my mind. Or just, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you this value right now. And I know it's valuable because I know who you are. I've done the research. Like, I've shown some effort. That's what you should do, and do it in a way where you feel like you can scale it. And again, start with the unscalable. Like, a lot of customers will tell me that they remember when I did a setup call with them. It's because I did every setup call. I did every setup call till I couldn't do it anymore. And then I didn't stop. I just grabbed my co-founder Robin, and then we both did setup calls till we couldn't do them anymore. I still talk to customers every single day. It's the greatest thing I get to do every day, in my opinion. And every smart VC, private equity, Harvard graduate tells me I'm nuts, but the unscalable works very, very well. And if I can build a very large organization on it, you can too. And what I love about it is it's a very unbeatable strategy, because once your customers see you, they see that you care, they see that you're creating a lot of value every single day. It's just hard to turn away from that, because there just aren't a lot of people in the world who are willing to do it. So if I couldn't go local, that's how I would try to do it.
Yeah. You touched on something actually. I was trying to decide if I should even mention, but we've been a big fan of HighLevel for years now. And we had a challenge with one of something going on in support, and I felt like we had kind of just exhausted all measures. And then you literally in 3 minutes were like, let's get on a Zoom call. And I was like, what? And next thing I know, we got 5 department heads, and they're like, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of this. And that just blew my mind. Like from a small business perspective, yeah, we see that kind of dedication all the time. But from a business perspective of somebody the size of HighLevel, that's just unheard of. And I mean, from that point on, I was just like, yeah, I mean, we're not going anywhere.
This is how we still do it to this day. And I would still do it to this day. I mean, I don't see any, I mean, what I love about those interactions personally is they help us find our weak spots. I mean, everyone's got things they need to improve on, right? No one is perfect. We're all humans, despite what, people would have you believe. And, we're imperfect, and we want to get better every day. And if you take that attitude, it's awesome when a customer reaches out and says, hey man, I'm like struggling here. I tried and I love the people who are like, I already tried the official channel and it's just not working for me. It's like, okay. First, let me solve your problem. But second, let me learn why it is that you even got to this space. So A, so you never get there, and B, so neither does anybody else. So I love when people take the time to go through the official channel, but then by the time they get to me, I'm like, all right, we gotta blow this out for them, because they tried, they did exactly what we asked them to do. We fell down. It's time for us to step up and take responsibility and fix the problem. Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. So
that's cool.
Commend you and your team for that. Next is Alan. Can we unmute Alan?
Oh, well, yeah. Alan, you got great. I like Alan's questions already. Go for it, Alan.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I'm thinking. If I'm using HighLevel to offer it to attorneys, and the attorney is able to close a client through my solution, now, instead of telling them, hey, go get your own software for case management, can I use custom objects later? If I'm able to control the relationships rather than many to many all the time, if it's one to many or one to one, depends on the application's needs. Is that coming in the future?
That is exactly why we're building custom objects.
I love it.
Yeah. Here, quick question for you. What do lawyers really call cases?
I'm sorry?
They don't call them cases. What do lawyers call them? They're not called cases. Lawyers don't say, I'm going to. No, a client is a customer, but what do they have? What is the job equivalent? You would call it a case is with a client, but they don't call it a case in legal terms. Do you know what they call it?
No.
A matter.
A matter. Okay.
Go look that up. And you want to know that because when you talk to an attorney, you're going to want to call it matter management, not case management.
Not case management. Got it. I got that from like Clio and some other software that does that, but they do it without the marketing aspect. They do add a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. They bought some other company and they suck. But yeah, you're gonna do all this in HighLevel. In fact, this is the whole point of custom objects, is to give people like you the capacity to build out exactly what you're talking about. And honestly, custom objects will be done by the end of this month. They're already actually technically out. They're live with a private beta group. They're just waiting. They're working them into workflows and making sure they're in all the different places. That all will be done by the end of this month. And then my team's telling me we're going to hold it until level up day. So I think you'll end up seeing it at level update. But the whole purpose of this, I like custom objects more than anything. I mean, I could say like, oh, it's going to be great because like HubSpot has it as a feature, and now we'll have it in this and that. But I'm way more excited about guys like you, because this is exactly what people will do. They'll get onto the fact that they can create entire custom software applications, essentially utilizing objects that represent the real business categories that their customers deal with every single day, and they won't be constrained to, contact and company. While those may or may not be important for most people, you'll also open this whole other category, and will allow you to treat them as first class objects. So they'll be in they'll be in the pipelines, they'll be in the workflows, they'll be in the, you'll be able to put them in a CRM type of function, all the places you want to use them, and then you can truly make it into its own thing.
I love it. Can't wait. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alan. Great. That's fantastic. I just realized, I didn't just realize it, but Level Up Day is like barely a month away.
I know. I hope if anybody on this call does not have tickets, go buy it now. Go highlevel.com/level up.
All right. So Corey Packer's got the next question. Can we unmute him, please?
What's up, Dakota?
Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing? What's up, Shaun?
Not much, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Living the dream. Just started working with Go High Level probably a month and a half ago, 2 months, maybe.
Welcome.
Yeah. No, it's been killing.
I'll tell you, he's killing it right now, Shaun. Like, dude's been. He's going to be your next SaaSpreneur next year.
He already knows the answer.
Well, half right, half wrong. Dakota, thanks for that. I'm working with him, and you're a godsend, honestly, bro. But I learned a lot in Go High Level. I have a mentor help me out with things, but he was really pushing me. A lot of people were pushing me to go niche specific, and I was kind of doubling down and trying to, but I didn't want to spend the time to really have 30 different types of offers or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just do what I'm good at, which I can market, I can drive business, and then I can just find the features. So I doubled down on like the SMS, the missed call, the review, like all the the basic
Good
stuff.
for you.
So like, what's your idea, or what's your kind of like advice on going niche specific or feature specific?
I'm just am who I am, and like, so take this as advice in the sense that I would never say my advice it trumps anybody else's. I would just say what I like, what I've seen, what I would do. I'm a hater on niches. I'm a hater all over the place on niches, because I think so to be fair, not that it isn't doable, not that I haven't seen it done in a huge way, but most people who dominate a niche have to dominate at the top 5%. That means you're going to national conventions. You can only sell to a very small number of people. You have to charge an incredibly high price. It just is a radically different dynamic than most people understand it to be. I think when most people hear niche, like I know one of the biggest plumbing marketing agencies in the country, and he tells 90% of the plumbers he talks to, "I'm sorry, I can't help you," because they don't have enough money to buy services. So unless you're the top 5% of plumbers, which means you have, 100 vans and 200 employees, he's not your guy. Mm-hmm. So when most people hear niche, they think the plumber down the street. That's not what I hear. That's not what I see. Now, I'm a software guy, right? So I look at places like Bird Eye and Podium. I mean, these people are 100 million plus revenue companies who offer almost the exact feature set you just described to almost any business. Personally, and maybe this is different for other people, I don't need to make $100 million to be happy. I can make less. So when I look at those guys doing what they're doing, and I think, gosh, if I layer, let's just say I'm the same as all of them, it's just I'm local and they're not, I'll crush those fools every day of the week. Because I'll just walk into the dentist's office and be like, "Hey, when was the last time you talked to Bird Eye or Podium? Was it fun sitting on hold? That kicked ass, right? No, just kidding. Hey, it was a donut. I'm here in your office. You ever need me, by the way? I will show up here. How's that sound?"
Right.
I mean, just winning all day. And if you think about mostly dentists are interesting because, almost all of them use a company called Patterson Dental, which is a multi-zillion-dollar publicly traded company, but that's not how they see it, because Patterson Dental drives up in a van every day. "Hey, I'm your local Patterson Dental guy, here to drop off your dental supplies. Oh, you have questions? No problem. I'm right here." They serve an entire nation of dentists in a way that feels local to the dentist, but is actually a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded corporation. That is where I feel like I would go, because that is where I feel like I could just dominate. And I found that businesses are so low in the bars that they've already set for themselves. You're not competing at a level where being niche specific is necessary to create incredibly ROI positive outcomes for them. and it gives you a much wider customer base. So for me, I'd stay local. I'd sell to almost any business. I would go that route. I would try to get deeper with them over time. I'd create different plans. But again, go look at Podium, go look at Bird Eye. I mean, these guys are charging $300, $400, $500 a month to all the businesses they serve, annual plans only, all kinds of stuff. I just don't know why you couldn't do the same thing and just crush it.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for the advice. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good luck, man.
All right. Thanks.
Great question, Corey.
Thanks.
Okay, so next is Francisco. He's got a question about voice AI or AI voice, excuse me.
Yes. First, Dakota, you're absolutely right. I do consulting for another marketing agency, and Shaun one time he showed up, and the owner of the marketing agency was going crazy. I'm like, no, HighLevel got it, and I'm the HighLevel cheerleader in the office, but I'm like, I don't
Thanks,
care.
man.
This is it. So, Shaun, thank you so much for that. But yes, going on to my question, I really want to make a push. I feel like my purpose is to take all of this information and translate it, be the voice for Spanish.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of taking that, and I got to go over a little hump of that. I don't feel too comfortable with my accent, but hey, it is what it is. I know it, and I love what you're doing. With the voice AI, will that be for Spanish as well?
I think it already is. And the good news is we're taking internationalization incredibly seriously. So you'll see this it should actually be at the end of this month. We did our first round of internationalization translations and stuff through ChatGPT. It was like, meh, it's pretty bad. And so we said, all right, fine. So we hired a very expensive professional SaaS company who employs both AI plus humans to do our translations. So we will have the entire app translated into, I think it's 13 languages, but it's very scalable the way we've done it. We can basically flip on languages super quickly. And so we'll basically try to do that for, every language that makes sense. I'm sure there's some languages that may or may not have a lot of customers in them, but let's just say every language that matters, that has customers, that have a good amount of users, we will have that translation out. We'll do a great job. AI will no doubt lag because AI on languages, because it does lag, but there's no way Spanish isn't like this. I mean, I think Spanish is already in there, but there's no way Spanish doesn't get stronger before almost any other language, only because if you look across the whole AI front, Spanish is just that other language, I think, that gets subbed in as language number 2. And it will change over time, and I think eventually support all kinds of languages. But I think Spanish is already very strong. And when you get a chance, just test it out. When it comes out live, just see how it works.
Yeah, I want to start putting a lot of tests on the AI bots, because I'm thinking the chat bots, at least to start off, get some training.
Oh yeah, the inbound. I'm telling you, put a chat bot on any website for any small business, and you'll just clean up, because I'm telling you, the bar is very low. You get 1 or 2 sales in a month for that business. I mean, you just paid for yourself. It's very, very easy to do. And it's just almost impossible for a business that has, obviously you want to help them, like, hey, good, GBP, Google Business. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I can't remember the acronym. Keep changing it. But Google Business Profile page, make sure they have a good one, nice pictures, all the information's legit, whatever. They'll start showing up, right? Reputation management, outbound, kind of reactivation campaigns if they don't have good reviews and they have some customers that they've served in the last 6 months, that kind of thing. But point is like any business worth anything, they already have traffic come to their site. And if you find that they don't have Google Analytics, make sure you put it on there. But very quickly, you're going to see a couple hundred people coming to most websites every single day. They're just missing it because the website may be the most beautiful website on planet Earth. But, as we all know, the About Us page, as cool as the owner thinks it is, no one else does. And all of a sudden, services and everything gets very confusing. The little chat bubble down bottom right, it's like, oh, hey, need some help? You're like, heck yeah, I need some help. I just need this. And bam, the second that person submits, that's your lead. That's something you can point to, and you can show that you closed, and that's ROI, positive value for that business. That should pay your bill all day long.
Appreciate that, Shaun. Thank you, Dakota.
Okay, my pleasure, Francisco. Good to see you again. So next one is Nick. Nick's also a newer agency, just kind of getting his feet wet with HighLevel. Super talented man. Can we unmute Nick, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I hear you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for the call. I'm just curious. I read something, I think it was yesterday, about search engine optimization.
Yep.
Something that might be coming.
Yep.
And my question, I guess, is it coming? What is it? And Is it just something that does the analytics and you basically have to follow all their suggestions, or does it
No.
actually do something?
So I have a little bit of weird. So SEO for me is kind of strange because I meet a lot of people who say they're professional SEO people, and I'm like, okay, great. Explain to me how Google ranks websites, because Sergey and Larry put out the white paper
Yeah,
15 years
yeah.
ago. What does it say? And most
Google
of them just look
changes
at me.
every month. Google changes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still built on citation analysis, and that is still the foundational principle of Google, because it makes just logical sense. But most professional SEOs cannot explain this to me. But that being the case, I have definitely seen tools that do a great job of this. And the way we sort of think about this is, instead of, we will have all the analytics, because I think that's important for the people who are the pros. But for the people who are not the pros, you need something that can take action for them. And these days, a lot of the, I mean, depending on how far you want to go in this, most of the suggestions, most of the basics are totally doable via AI, because they're not radically that difficult. It's just most people, again, most people are so far off the mark that a little bit of change can make a huge difference. And so the tool that we will put out will give you, yes, it will give you all the analytics, but it will also automatically make all the changes as well. You can, of course, make any change you want on top of that, so forth and so on. Decide not to use the AI for the changes, etc. But for the vast majority of people, it will be a fully automatable option where you can just say like, hey, take this website, this funnel, this email, this whatever, and go and run the SEO analysis on it, and then make the changes using AI automatically.
Cool. Will there be something that the client can see the improvement?
100%.
That's the tough. I sold AI SEO for a lot of years. The tough thing is showing the client that there's been a change.
Yes. So the idea is just like you can do the A/B split tests right now, the idea would be to do the same thing, right? So, hey, here's your original. We're still running it. Here's the traffic. Here's the conversion rates. Here's that. Here's the new AI version. Here's the, here's the differences, all that. And of course, you'll get the ranking reports and all of that as well. But I think showing them actual conversions on page, way more powerful than necessary. I mean, the ranking reports are useful. And don't get me wrong, if you can get me to go up 20 spaces, I'm super pumped. But most people are going to move plus or minus, it's like +1. And it's like, I'm 13 instead of 14. Yay. Like that's not going to,
Yeah.
a lot of
times they just get hung up on like one search phrase, and they're like, I'm not on page 1 in my area for this search phrase. And if you could just do that, they'll be with you for life. It's odd.
Yet another reason I'd never sell SEO.
Yeah.
But I get it. People know the term. They know some generic idea about it. You need to, and this is the whole point of us adding it to the offering. You need to be able to have something to give them there. And that's the whole idea of this. But we want to approach it in a way where you don't have to be a rankings expert, because I actually think it is very hard work. And like you said, it changes all the time. So if you really want to be on the cutting edge of that, it's its own vocation, but there's a lot of basics that can be done. And honestly, over time, I actually think AI will catch up pretty heavily to this, such that it'll get 80-90% of the way there.
Great. What's the timeline?
End of the year at the longest.
Okay.
Probably in like mid Q4.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, so we've only got about 7 minutes tops. So let's knock out, excuse me, some of these questions real quick. Can we unmute Mai real quick?
Hey, Mai.
Hi, Shaun. I have a question about because I'm starting and I don't really know how to get in. I tried going to small businesses. However, I have a few friends that has restaurant.
Yeah.
And what I try to do is go through every one of them and try to run through prospecting and see what kind of help they need.
Sure.
However, most of them already have reviews. And I just felt like they don't need reviews, but what other feature? That's the only thing that I know that I can offer. So that's why I kind of like put them aside.
What about online ordering?
They already have that.
Okay. What about the ability to text back and forth, chat with the restaurant, to booking tables at the restaurant, booking reservations?
I haven't. Yeah. Okay, that would be great.
I mean, most restaurants want more orders, more customers, right? So how can you fill the tables? It'd be great if I could just get online and actually book my reservation, which is fairly easy to do. So you could do that. That would be a great addition for them. You could also do things like you could offer, you could create coupons if you want. Go for it, Dakota.
Win back campaign. We've done that for a couple of restaurants that worked really, really well. And it's a high ticket sale. So if they have a list of their customers, you can pump them into a win back campaign, basically send out messages via text and email every week, inviting them back in on the slowest day of the week. That was kind of the pitch. It was like, we don't want to bring them in on our Friday. If you're packed, we'll bring them in on a Tuesday where you're not packed. And we would include like a key phrase, like come in during happy hour from 3 to 6, mention that you got a text from us, and we'll give you a free appetizer with a purchase of something or something like that. And businesses just would like thrive to that. Even if they didn't have a list, we would set up a QR code to a form to collect that list for them. And then, our fee to that business would be relevant to the number of contacts. So.
Perfect. Actually, I was thinking of the QR code, but are we capable of doing that through GHL?
Yeah, we do have a QR code builder now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably just search around because that's what I was thinking, to create a promo for every restaurant. And so I can kind of track it if they're if GHL is working for them, because I wanted to give them at least 30-day free so they can, because they don't know. Some of them don't know. They know that I'm new. They don't want to, I just want to prove them that JHL is working.
So just go to the YouTube channel for HighLevel and just search QR code. We just launched the builder like 3 weeks ago. And just go build a QR code for all of them, throw it up in their, in their lobby and run an offer to it. Right.
Super easy.
Yeah. Register to win, or I don't know. There's all kinds of good examples. Ask Dakota.
Okay, perfect. Also, we are capable also for doctors, right? Like, what do you call, like, the HIPAA? HIPAA.
We have a HIPAA. We have a full HIPAA compliant version, 100%.
And it says there we have to charge them additional $3.99, right? On top of the monthly.
$4.97. What you do with it is up to you. Some people pass it on, some people do not. I mean, we would want you to. We would tell you that every single physician knows that HIPAA costs them extra money. That's just part of their business. They're ready for it. So I would upcharge every single one of them at least $100 or $200 a month for just the HIPAA compliance.
I see. But me as a business owner, I will get charged for additional HIPAA, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's one time, but it's for unlimited. It's an additional charge each month, but it's for unlimited sub accounts. So it doesn't matter how many doctors you sign up. It's the same amount.
Okay, I see. Okay, not per account. Okay, perfect. That's all I have. Thank you, Shaun.
Of course.
Great question, Mike. All right, Garrett Brady is up next. Can we unmute Garrett? He's got his hand up. Can you hear us, Garrett?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm here in sunny Dublin.
Yeah, I love your accent.
Yeah.
Late night, I think, too, maybe.
Yeah, it's just short of 10 o'clock here in the evening. I have a strong hospitality background, worked in that kind of area for about 3 decades. So it's struggling here in Ireland at the moment. Big time bars and restaurants are closing by the dozen every week. So I see a little bit of a gap in the market. Certainly for a good marketing solution going in at a low cost into the bar game. A lot of them seem to have the bookings and the things covered between Res Diary and Open Table. So obviously that would be a good selling point. So I just kind of wanted to pick your brains to see, is that I know you talked there, Dakota, about a couple of promotions and different things, but like, for example, the SMS thing, for example, we talk a lot about it through Go HighLevel, but in Ireland, it just has not kicked in as it would, as I've seen it working in the States and that kind of thing. They're a little bit off put by it. Certainly WhatsApp seems to be a good eye-opener for a lot of the venues and stuff like that, that they could, promote their different newsletters and stuff through that. So I just wanted to really touch base to see, is there anything, I suppose, in the pipeline that you kind of might say, well, listen, this is really going to be a game changer for that industry, or I suppose looking at the res diaries and the open tables, is there something there that there could be a big plan to integrate something in there? From what I gather with res diary, I haven't used it directly, but when the booking comes in, they nearly have like a table plan on their computer. So they're nearly laying out their night in advance, that kind of way. So yeah, so that's all. I just wanted to pick your brains, I suppose, on that kind of, I suppose, that kind of selling market that I'm going in at, a low cost, just really selling the software as a utility, not so much of the kind of agency model, and to see where I can come with that,
Absolutely. So one thing I was going to do here is I just looked up webhooks for Res Diary. So every time somebody books in Res Diary, you could actually just use a workflow and shoot it into HighLevel. I'll throw it in the chat here. But then you can automatically start collecting a list off of that. And then Dakota's point, you could then use it for reactivations really easily.
Cool.
So I think that would be a super simple way for you to do that.
Yeah.
And then you could use WhatsApp. You could use anything you wanted. I bet you OpenTable will have something similar. Dakota, what else you got?
Funnily enough, the biggest selling point probably that Go HighLevel have at the moment, that I think will really attract a lot of people over here, is the actual social planner.
Sure.
That's huge. The likes of, I'm not going to start mentioning other brands, but like their cost is just way beyond what could be expected. I was talking to a hospitality friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and I was just touching base, just kind of racking his brains. And he said, "Oh, we use this thing called something sweet, and we're charging about $295, and it's all limited. Oh, if you only can limit it to this amount of accounts and this and this and this,
What if you went so far as to start creating templated social posts, because you're handling bars and restaurants?
Yeah.
Most of these guys don't know. I mean, they own bars. They don't know how to create social posts. So let's say you create.
Yeah.
And this is what people always miss. They think they have to create these bespoke custom things. If you create really good looking social posts, you could sell it to every bar and restaurant in the city, and they wouldn't know, like no one would know, like the customer who sees the post is not going to know that it's the same as somebody else. But you could resell that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, my original idea actually, when I came upon this, was to actually said, you know what, I'll actually sell a preloaded sub account. So if I go to a venue and say, right, there's your workflows. So boom, boom, boom. There's your 3 or 4 different WhatsApps, your Christmas party WhatsApp, your boom, 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 boom. So you're nearly selling it like a preloaded product. And then
that's exactly what they want.
You get a great guy like Dakota backing it all up with a bit of support.
There you go. You got it.
Thanks for the plug, Garrett. I appreciate it. All right. So
thanks, Shaun. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no worries. Good luck.
Shaun's on a limited schedule today. Real quick, Shaun, somebody asked him if there's any way to attend Level Up online. I
saw that, and the answer is no.
Yeah.
I always yell at them about that, but we have all these weird agreements with the speakers and stuff, and they're very protective. So I stay the heck away from that. You can ask anybody on my team about it. The guy who runs it, his name's Wesley. It's Wesley at GoHighLevel.com if you want to give him some mail about it. But yeah, I asked about that, but the answer is officially no, as I understand it.
Yeah. I've met Wesley actually a couple times. I'll tell you a story another time, but he called me once. He's like, "Did you know you popped up on the first page for HighLevel?" And I was like, what? It was an accident, but but not an accident.
That's awesome. That's great. And, I love him to death. But yeah, no, there is not currently an online option.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Shaun. I'm sure everybody else here does. So
thanks everybody for coming.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in Dallas, and as we usually do, and listening to the 377 or so new features that'll be coming out.
I can't wait. I'm on.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Have a good day, Shaun.